Finally, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay?
The drug that Donald Trump so incompetently tried to pronounce is acetaminophen. It's also called paracetamol in Europe. And since 1955, it has been more commonly known by the name that the McNeil Group gave it when they introduced it as a medication for children, Tylenol. Now, acetaminophen was first marketed in the United States in 1950, and as I mentioned, McNeil Laboratories later introduced it as Tylenol 5 years later as a children's medication. And currently today, it is in more than 600 over-the-counter drugs, ranging from cough and cold medications to allergy medications. So why is Tylenol in the news? Well, the brainworm in charge of the CDC and Health and Human Services and NIH has tried to make a direct linkage between Tylenol and autism. Now, the term autism first entered our lexicon in 1911 when a Swiss psychiatrist used it to describe someone with social awkwardness, but what he was really describing was schizophrenia. The first diagnosed case of autism came about in 1943 and involved a man named Donald Triplett, who was born in 1933. Now, not only is there no clinical evidence to suggest that Tylenol leads to autism, Tylenol actually came about after the first diagnosis. So remember, it wasn't marketed in the United States until 1950, and it wasn't until 1955 that it was marketed as Tylenol, and the first case was diagnosed in 1943. So 7 years before it was marketed in the U.S. and over 10 years before it came under the name Tylenol that most of us are familiar with. All of this is just anti-science nonsense stirred up by anti-vaxxers and others who want to tear down our institutions of knowledge in order to promote these narratives. The reality is that autism is a very complex, nuanced diagnosis that is primarily related to genetic factors. There could be other environmental factors involved. We can't rule those out, but you can't point to a clear singular source as being the cause for it. Second, and this is a question I asked the anti-vaxxers and anti-science crowds, why is being autistic so horrible to you? Why would you risk their life by not getting them a vaccination that could prevent a childhood disease from killing them? Why do you fight so hard to criticize your own children for just being who they are? So yeah, please stop taking medical advice from a person with a brainworm and from a president who struggles to put a sentence together.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the Advils and others, right? And they've been proven bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a resounding authority on medical diagnoses and treatments.